In order to be successful for today's class, every single person in this room should have their notebook and their pieces out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, your pieces is not due until Thursday. And as I'm looking around the room, it looks like some of you did not heed my warning. Some of you did, though. I see you. Okay? Now, for those of you, anyone here done with their pieces? Oh, hell yes. Doesn't it feel good to be done? Did it take you longer, for those who finished, did it take you longer than you think it would?
Not really.
How long did it take you?
Like
30 minutes, and you did it wrong, I can tell you that for sure.
It took me like 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay, that took you too long. It should be taking you about an hour and a half, maybe even an hour and 45 minutes. It should take you time. If you did it in 30 minutes, you have some really terrible answers on there. You know that. Okay, we'll look at it, so don't panic on me, but it should take you about an hour and a half. Okay? It is going to take you longer than you think it will. So if you have not started working on it, you're going to have a long week. Who here has finished their focus? Good. Okay, good. If you did not put in a sincere effort to getting both of these assignments done, you're going to have a long week. You understand that, correct? You will see how painful it is to not finish it over the weekend. Anyone here finish both? Oh, hell yeah. Okay. You are going to be living your best life because you only have to worry about vocab quizzes. That's pretty bomb. So you will see the people who get their work done over the weekends are going to live higher quality lives than you. People who are waiting. It does pay off to get ahead. Okay. So I did get a couple emails about pieces, and I did respond to them. So if you did email, I was responding throughout the day. When you're doing your pieces, may I borrow this? Where's your pieces, man? Take it out. Do the actual worksheet. Take it out. Okay, this sheet you should have had with you. If you did not have it with you, you're making your life harder because in this final column, it had all the things that you were looking for. So all you had to do was read it, and it would have told you what to look for, correct? So this you should have had out on the desk with you. It would have made your life so much easier. Okay, so please have that out, especially for the first couple of weeks while you're doing it. It'll make your life better. Now, my motto for my classroom is you work for me and I work for you. So I know your pieces. This is your first time doing it. I want to help you out. So if you are someone who actually put work into it this week, like you put sincere effort, I'm talking to you. So anyone here who put work into it this weekend, you're going to show me your pieces and I'm going to answer a question. Have you got one?
The Phoenician section is
Very small, and I get that all day long. So what Phoenicians do you need?
Phoenician social.
Phoenician social. You need to know that business leaders are in the top spot of their social class system. So Phoenicians have business leaders at the top of their social structure. You need to know religious figures. In your second box, you can write religious leaders. In your third box, you can write for social, you can say their religion is polytheistic. There's not a ton of information. But if you have something else, have confidence, it's good. Have confidence, it's good. Doesn't have to be exactly what I have. What do you got, guys?
For Yellow River, did that include the Zhao dynasty and those books?
Yeah, it's all three of them.
Oh, so that was the Yellow River?
Yeah, that's the Yellow River that they're all based around.
So
It's Zia Shang Zhao. No. Yeah, no. Because keep in mind, for Zia, which is the first one, and then all the other ones encircled it. Yeah, so Yellow River is Zia Shang Zhao. Any of your East Asia ones, those were those boxes. Harrison, let me see that pieces. Let me see if you put the work in. I'll find one.
For Meso, are you asking for Meso?
Yes, of course. What else would it be, man?
Mesopotamia.
I want Mesopotamia. There's no Mesoamerica until the very end. No.
So which one do you want?
Mesopotamia. Amaya.
For the Phoenicians, for social, would like alphabetic script came back on there?
What?
The alphabetic language.
For social, I would put that under culture. That's a cultural thing. What do you got? Or technology, too. You could have thrown it there, too.
What was something for the environment?
Okay, Hebrews for environment. They are the ones who come up with palm seed oil. So I would write that down. If you don't have that, I would write palm seed oil. That's their big invention. They're also the first ones to start selling fish. Okay? They are huge purveyors of fish. In order to sell fish, what do you have to figure out? Okay? No, not catch the fish, guys. So everyone can catch a fish. You and I, even me, who hates the outdoors, can catch a fish. What if I'm going to sell fish to to other people in other places, what do I have to figure out, Addison?
You have to like smoke it.
Or I smoke it, and then during this time they're going to salt it. They're going to salt it. So they have to preserve it so it's not rotting when it gets there. So that's technology. That's environment as well. You're also going to, you can also write down that they are going to be, for environment, they are going to be migratory. Because they get kicked out of their places, you can call them migratory. Alright, what else we got? Someone else who's put some real work in. I'm not answering someone who hasn't done anything. What do you got?
Social access.
Social for the Hebrews. At the top you have religious leaders. For the Hebrews, you have religious leaders at the top. Okay? Another thing for social, it is entirely based on religion. So for social, everything is based on religion. It justifies every aspect. Women are treated more equal there. So being a Hebrew woman was one of the better places to be a woman during that time. Alright? So, okay. I'll ask again tomorrow, but I'm only helping those who help themselves. Okay, so you need to get started. I see some of you who have had none focus or pieces filled out. If you're not going to do your work, just drop, man. Like, I'm cool with that. Doesn't hurt my feelings. I'd rather focus on people who are going to do their jobs. Everyone clear? Perfect. Take out your notebook. If you have any questions about your pieces, you want me to look at it, you are more than welcome to ask me after class. Anytime. All right, here we go. Who can raise their hand and tell me where we left off on Friday? Kaylin. Okay, so we did start talking about Mesopotamia. Perfect. What was the last note you took, Kaylin?
It was located near rivers for salt.
Okay, so we are located near rivers, and those two rivers are the Tigris and the Euphrates River. We have those down? Perfect. We need rivers for two reasons, especially if you didn't know this on your do now. You need to write this down. We need them for two reasons. We need it for irrigation, and we need it for flooding. Okay, so Mesopotamia is located on the Tigris and Euphrates River. We are along rivers in all these civilizations because we need it for we need it for irrigation, and we need it for flooding. Okay? So, you need to know that the Mesopotamians are only building one piece of infrastructure. Who can raise your hand and tell me what infrastructure is? What is infrastructure, Madison?
It's basically like buildings and roads.
Yeah, buildings are mostly facilitated by the government. Okay, government buildings being built. The Mesopotamians only have one, and it's called the ziggurat. And that's how you spell it. Mesopotamians only have one piece of infrastructure. Why do you think they only have one piece of infrastructure? Why? Amaya?
Because the rivers flooded and ruined everything.
Yes. The rivers are flooding all the time. They're completely unpredictable. So if your house gets wiped away, you're going to be like, oh man, who cares about my house? Let me build this government building. Or you're going to be like, oh shit, my house just flooded. I have to save my house. Oh, and then I'll deal with the project later, correct? Yes. So, when you have unpredictable flooding, you have very little infrastructure. When you have very predictable flooding, you have a lot of infrastructure. Where is the most predictable river in the world, Gus? Nile. Who has the most infrastructure, Gus? Egypt. Okay? So, there is a connection. So, the ziggurat, you do need to know it is the only infrastructure they built, and you need to know it's religious. It's built to honor their gods. Okay, if they're polytheistic, if you want to include that as well, that's fine. If you're taking APR history, Ren will teach you about ziggurats. ISIS destroyed them, so they're no longer there. They blew them up. I know, that's not right. Alright, so there are two major people that you need to know for Mesopotamia. The first one is Sargon of Akkad. It's right here, Sargon of Akkad. He is going to defeat the Sumerians. He defeats the Sumerians and leads to the rise of the Babylonians. Sargon of Akkad, he is going to defeat the Sumerians and lead to the rise of the Babylonians. Now, why are the Sumerians in power? You can raise your hand. Just give me a basic connection here, people. Why, Lucas?
Because they were the first city.
Yeah, they're the first city. So someone had to knock them off from being the first, correct? Knock them off from being the most powerful, and it's going to be the Babylonians. The second person you need to know is Hammurabi, and I would put a big star next to him because he's a very big deal. Hammurabi is the second person you need to know, and is the most important person we study in the first 2 weeks. He is important for 2 reasons. He is going to be the first genuine ruler in the world. What do I mean by that? Okay? He's the first genuine ruler in the world, which means he makes the world better for his people during his reign. He's the first person to really improve people's lives during their political reign. Okay? How does he do it? First things he does, you do need to know, he improves taxation. What's taxation? Who can give me a basic explanation of what taxation is? We've got taxes here. You should be aware of them. What do you got, Sil?
Giving the government money.
Yeah, we give the government money. Why?
For infrastructure, education.
Yeah. Okay, here in the United States in 2019, we pay all of your government dollars are paying my salary, paying for the lights, paying for the building, the chairs, the lack of paint I have on my walls. Sort of. Okay, so with that being said, that's what our money goes to. Back then, they're paying mostly for their military. Okay, protecting their people, building some infrastructure, not a ton because there's a lot of flood. The other major thing that you need to know, and I put even a star next to this one under Hammurabi, is he creates the code of Hammurabi. He creates the code of Hammurabi. It is a law code. You need to use that term. The code of Hammurabi is a law code. What is a law code? No one has any idea. What is a law code? Gus?
Set of rules.
Set of rules, okay, but like the kings before had rules. What's the difference between Hammurabi's rules and their rules, Gus?
It was written down.
It was written down, and what was next to it? So we had the law, and then next to it's the punishment. So you need to write down a law code means it states the law clearly with its punishments. And it standardizes it. What does that mean to say standardizes it? What does that mean, Kyle? No, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good, but I'm going to reject that one. Stella?
It's a nationwide standard for punishment.
Yeah, it means everyone's treated essentially the same, right? If you break this rule, that's the punishment. If you break this rule, that's the punishment. So, Hammurabi Code, this is what you need to know. Created by Hammurabi, it is a law code, which means it has laws and punishments right there printed. It's standardized, which means it affects everyone. Okay? You do need to know that it is broken up by class. It is broken up by class. So, are poor people and wealthy people having the same punishments? No. Who can raise your hand and make the jump? Why do you think poor people and wealthy people are not given the same punishments? Why do you think, Harrison? Sort of, but there's actually a kind of more bare bones, actually. What do you got, Skyla?
They contribute more to society.
Let's not give them too much. Guys, what do wealthy people have that poor people don't, Isabel?
Money.
They have money. What does a brand new type of government depend on?
Money.
So, it's easier if the wealthy people give them money. And what do poor people definitely not have?
Money.
Money. Now, keep in mind, if you commit a heinous crime, you can be killed if you're wealthy. But most of the crimes are going to be fine-based because they need the money to continue keeping the government going. Okay. Couple things. You do need to know that Mesopotamia does have bronze. Okay, so Mesopotamia has bronze. How did they get it? Who can raise your hand and tell me who made bronze first? Someone other than Gus and Kyle. I've talked to them both numerous times. Lucas?
The Persians?
No. We haven't even talked about the Persians. Persians aren't even, they're not even a figment yet. Harrison? East Asia, specifically they start with an S. The Shang, ladies and gentlemen. The Shang create bronze. Mesopotamia has bronze. So what does that tell you about Mesopotamia? They what? They traded. Yes, they are trading with East Asia. You need to understand that. They are trading with East Asia. Okay? They are not completely isolated. These people are trading. There are networks going through. You need to know that eventually bronze will be replaced by iron. What's the difference between bronze to iron? What's the difference? Segan.
Well, isn't that like bronze? Like it's more like
Durable.
yeah, but iron is a stronger material and doesn't bend as
Yeah,
easily.
super strong. So, and it's cheaper to make. So what is everyone going to prefer? Iron. Yeah, bronze falls out of fashion. It's just used as decorative at this point. While iron will be the favorite. Okay? Alright. So, your social classes. This should be your subheading for Mesopotamia. Your social classes. The elite, the top tier, is going to be military leaders. So, if the top tier of Mesopotamia's social structure is military leaders, what is the most important thing to Mesopotamians? War, yes! Here in the United States in 2019, we don't have any more 5-star generals alive. The last one died, I think, like 6 years ago. So, we only have 4-star generals. Any of you can name one? No. So, are they our top tier? Are they our elite class? Are they the ones that everyone cares the most about? No. Here in 2019, we care who are in our elite levels. Who is our elite social classes? Madison? I don't know. Do we hold? Okay, Beyonce would be a terrible because she is. But who is really the top tier? Stella? Jeff Bezos. Your business leaders, correct? We say we put business leaders at the very, very top. Would you agree? Okay. So here in the United States in 2019, what's our major focus? Money, economics, correct? While Mesopotamia focuses on military, yes? So, if you're like the Hebrews who happen to have religious leaders in their top tier, what does that tell you their focus is? Religion. So their elite classes in every civilization indicate what that civilization cares the most about. Mesopotamia cares more about war. Their second tier, and you need to know that, is your religious leaders. They're polytheistic. Okay? Your third tier is your free commoners. These are your poor people. They're just wandering around living their lives. That's you and me, people. Then you have your slaves. It is really important that you understand that the United States of America is the only country in the world that color-coded our slaves. In 1617, a slave ship was off the coast of Virginia, and a plantation owner said for the first time, it'd be easier if my slaves were black, not white, because I could catch them faster. Okay, now, in 1617, I know we're not the United States yet, so it doesn't happen until 1776, I'm aware. However, during our colonial heritage, we brought white people from England in what we called indentured servitude, and they were supposed to be a slave essentially for 7 years, and then we would let them go free, and then that would pay for their voyage here. So what would happen is all these white people from Europe would get here. You know, these people in the colonies would pay for them to come here. They'd work for a year or two, and then they would run off. Okay, so all of their investment is gone. And if there are a bunch of white people, and the colonies are filled with white people, is it easy to find them or hard to find them? Hard. A bunch of white people everywhere. So in 1617, one of the, I can't remember his name, he was tired of his indentured servants running away, which is what we call people from England who would work as essentially slaves for 7 years. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to buy a slave. Because what happened? Is there any black people in the colonies at this point? No. So would you notice a black person in a sea of white people? Yes. So the United States is the only country in the world that color coordinated our slaves to make it easier to catch. We're the only ones. So in every other, it's pretty brilliant. Can we agree? I mean, if you think of it on strictly a business plan, it's pretty damn smart. However, slavery is obviously atrocious, the crimes, everything like that, of course. However, it's a pretty smart plan. Every other place in the world, slaves are every single color. White people are slaves, Arabs are slaves, Asians are slaves, everyone is slaves, Africans are slaves during this time period. So when we talk about slaves, do not think it's only Africans. That is a very, very, very American thing. Not everywhere else. Okay, so I got a couple emails about that. So keep that in mind. Okay, it's a patriarchal society. You need to know that. What does patriarchal society mean? We've talked about 10,000 times. What does it mean, Maddie?
That it's supposed to be ruled by men.
Yeah.
This power.
Yep, men are in power. Women have very little. That's what you need to know. I don't think anyone's surprised by that. In Mesopotamia, ladies, if you were caught having an affair on your husband, you were stoned or drowned immediately. No questions asked. And then if your husband was having an affair, the more lovers he had, the higher his ranking would go. Yeah, welcome to patriarchy. So just be aware that it's a very patriarchal state. Why? What?
So if a man is caught having affairs with a bunch of women, all those women get stoned, and then he gets.
Yeah, he's like now like, wow, all these women wanted him. What a dude. Here we go. You need to know that Mesopotamia created cuneiform, which is right there. Cuneiform is the first writing system in the world. Cuneiform. So there's a couple things you need to know about it. You need to write down cuneiform. I would write wedge-shaped. You need to know what it looks like. It looks like this. Okay? So, it's the first writing system in the world. It was very hard to learn. So, if it's very hard to learn, does everyone know it or only the elites? The elites, and I would make that known. Only the elites used it. Specifically scribes. If you're in AP Art History, Ren is going to teach you a bunch of scribe paintings. One's a really creepy Egyptian one. It's really kind of creepy. You'll see him. Okay, there you go. Your first piece of literature ever in the world is called the Epic of Gilgamesh, and you do need to know it. Okay, your first piece of literature is called the Epic of Gilgamesh. It is about a guy, it's semi-religious, you do need to know that, semi-religious. It's about a guy who goes to try to find God, and he goes through a bunch of trials and tribulations. I've read it. It's not bad, but it's not what I would call a page turner. It's no Harry Potter, okay? It's pretty good. It's not terrible, but I wouldn't say it's great. There's some AP classes that make people read it. I don't know why. Why would you make people read it? I don't think it teaches you that much, but.
Sorry, what year was that?
Oh, don't even worry about it, girl. You just need to know it's the first piece of literature. Alright, here we go. Hebrews. I would skip a space and I would write a new heading. That's where we're at. You can't throw that away, man. You can't recycle that. That's trash, man. You gotta know your number. Huh? This that doesn't get recycled. It has to be trash. It has to be certain rated.
Is there how much cycles?
We're moving on. I don't have time, but you need to brush up on what can be recycled. Safe plant man. Here we go. Hebrews. You need to know that there are three people. The first person you need to know is Abraham. If you are a Jew, a Christian, or a Muslim, if you are one of those three, you should know the name Abraham. Abraham is the father of Judaism. You need to write that down. He is the one who created it. So if you're a Christian and you're like, well, hell, why the hell do I know Abraham? Or if you're a Muslim, you're like, what the hell? Why do I know it? The reason is because Judaism is the foundation of all of your monotheistic religions. So Abraham is the father of all monotheistic religions. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all start in the same place, and they build off of each other. So when you hear people say that Islam is absolutely nothing like anything we have in this country, they're completely wrong in discussing human beings because they don't even understand the foundation of their religion. Islam, Christianity, Judaism, all have the same father, and it's Moses. Not Moses, that was a lie. Abraham. The second person you need to know is a guy named Moses. Okay? He is in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam because all three of them have the same home, and the same home is Judaism. Moses is important for a couple of reasons. First reason is he leads the Jews out of Egypt. Let my people go. Have you ever seen the Disney classic Kings of Egypt? It's a good one, and the soundtrack is banger. Okay, we got Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston. Okay, it's bomb. Second thing you need to know, besides the fact that he led the Jews out of Egypt, is that you need to know that he makes Judaism monotheistic. Moses makes Judaism monotheistic. Who can tell me when does Moses do this? If you're a Jew, a Christian, or a Muslim, you should be able to raise your hand, people. When does Moses make Judaism? Oh, come on, people. He's walking down with a bunch of stuff in his hands. Kyle. The stone slabs? 10 Commandments. Yes. Moses comes down. You don't need to know. From Mount Sinai. Okay, goes sits on top of a mountain, talks to God for like 3 days or something. I don't know. I'm a Catholic. I'm not very good at this stuff, so we'll just go with him. I think it's like 3 days. Comes down from the mountain. He's got his little stone slabs in his hand. He's like, first commandment is?
There's only one God.
There's only one God. It's the first commandment, people. They like, thou shalt not kill. I think it's like 7 or something. I think. I don't know.
Second one is
Terrible Christian, so Catholic, it's fine. So, Moses is the one who makes it monotheistic. Okay? So, you need to know that he frees the Jews from Egypt. You need to know he makes it monotheistic. You also need to know the name King David. King David is going to be the first political leader who improves the quality of life of Jews. You see, he's the best king they've ever had. And he's going to improve the quality of life for the Jews under his rule. Okay, so for the Hebrews, you need to know 3 people. You need to know Abraham, you need to know Moses, and you need to know King David. Solomon's pretty good too, but you only need to know King David. You're a Christian, a Jew, or a Muslim. You should be familiar with these names. It shouldn't have been strange to you. Okay, now, just listen. I just want you to know that before Moses came around, Judaism is the oldest religion in the world. Okay? They were flirting with the idea of polytheism. They kind of like, I like it. I like the taste of it. I kind of like this a little bit. They're flirting with it. Then Moses comes and crashes it down. Everything stops after that, and they're strictly monotheistic. The Jewish faith is the first monotheistic. Is that widely, positively received or criticized? Criticized. So because, goodbye, we're behind a little bit, people. We got to go a little faster tomorrow. Goodbye.